Okay. Hi, thanks for joining the demo part of this digital event. I will share two small slides before we kick off with the demo itself. Hopefully this one works now. I'm now down to one screen because the other one was giving a hardware trigger problem. So I will also not put it on the big screen. Hopefully you can see this. So the solution demo itself will be covered by Tessa. She's one of our leading consultants. And just one slide for the ones that, let's say, are not that familiar with Salesforce as a technology or Salesforce as a platform. Salesforce is a technology platform, so it's not just a application. Salesforce itself is delivering multiple modules on its own platform, like the Marketing Cloud, Sales Cloud, the CPQ, multiple modules they offer. So you could consider that as the CRM part of the platform. What Financial Force is delivering is the partner of Salesforce. They have built their own technology on this technology platform, so their own modules, which you could consider as the ERP part of the solutioning. Gluing those two together, CRM and ERP, it gives you the ability to run your business end to end. Whether you are an NGO or a professional services company or a logistics company, it doesn't matter. Now, what is then also happening that in that end-to-end business process flow, there are obviously more partners that have created functionalities. One of our partnerships is with Findoc. Findoc has created, let's say, a specific solutioning for the front-end part of your NGO process. So looking at how to ease up the way you get your donations in. And for us, it's a feature, it's a function that we are adding to our complete setup for NGOs. Now there are more examples and more companies, more partners that also develop, those small but very usable, let's say, functionalities. And for us, it's the aim to collect all of those, so you don't have to do all your investigations, but we can come up with, let's say, interesting proposals, or at least help you to innovate your business. So that's the small take about the Salesforce as a technology compared to, let's say, others. For me personally, it's like the Tesla. So they were the first ones moving into the cloud. They are by far the best cloud technology providers. So I hope you will recognize it as such. So then I can give the floor to Tessa from the small demo that we will provide. I'll stop my share here. And hopefully this will kick and fire off the demo.
And welcome to this demo of NGOs together with Salesforce, Financial Force and Findoc. In this demo, we will give you a high-level overview of the process for NGOs and show you how to donate to a campaign, a quick glance of a project, and an overview of a project with project budgets and actuals. We will start by showing you how to manage your donors, grants, opportunities, and projects as a grant manager or fundraiser. As a grant manager or fundraiser, you have to manage your donors. These donors have different grants that can be allocated to different projects. At the same time, you have an opportunity. And when the opportunity is won and you have secured your budget, we can start creating a project. But these projects need funds. We can do that by allocating a sum of the grant to a specific project. This way, you can allocate one grant to multiple projects. The project has been set up. The funds are allocated by the fundraising team. Now the finance team can make sure that the funds allocated to the projects are entered into accounting. We can do that by creating installments to make the payments. And then all you have to do is make a request for payment. With our cash matching app, you can monitor the payments made and report back to the request for payments. Set the installments to paid and report back to the funds allocated, and in the end, report back to the contracts of the donor. With this platform, you can also generate smaller donations from the crowd. All you have to do is set up a campaign. promote that so that the people are aware of this campaign, which will then make them decide to donate to this good cause. For every donation, a donation installment is created. There can be a one-time donation or a recurring donation. In the end, these donations are allocated as funds to the project. As a project manager, you have your project set up and the funds are allocated. Now it's time to set up your project. You can start with your project budgets. Those can differ from staff costs, travel and expenses, office costs, etc. And you can allocate your resource request to reserve the right resources on your project. Managing your project can be done using tasks and milestones that will turn into a project plan. When you have found your resources, the platform allows you to automatically create assignments. The project has been set up. Now it's time for resources to work on it. They have received a notification that they are assigned to the project. This assignment allows them to write time and book expenses on the project. The project is in progress. Resources are working on the project. Now it's time to do what's most important. Monitor your project. The finance team can monitor all actual costs because they are all booked against the project budgets, like the time cards and expenses. With the payable invoices, for example, a car rental invoice, you can automatically process it using the Cloud Team Payable Invoice Scan app. These invoices are then allocated to a specific project budget. And in the end, all costs are reported on the general ledger accounts in the accounting part of the platform. I have showed you all the different parts of the platform and how to use it. Let's look at how it all fits together. This is the part the grant manager or the fundraiser is responsible for. Crowd donations can be done using campaigns linked to the opportunities. The project manager can manage their projects easily. Resources are booking time and expenses against tasks and milestones. And the finance team can manage the incoming funds from donors and manage the funds allocated to the project against the project budgets with the actuals. And of course, with Salesforce, you can report on every aspect of the platform. You have seen the whole process. Now let's dive into the platform. I will show you how to donate to a campaign using Findoc. This is the Arbor Day Foundation platform, and this is the part where the fundraising team works on. Here they can see all their open opportunities that will turn into project proposals and in the end are submitted to the fundraising team. I've set up one of my new opportunities where I want to save the trees in the rainforest in Brazil. On this page, I can store different information, such as what we want to achieve with the project, and who is my donor contact, and what are my co-funding requirements. I can also see what my approximate total budget is, and what the stage is, because it's submitted to the fundraising team. With this opportunity, I've also set up a campaign because I want to generate donations from the crowd. On this campaign, you can see that it's a fundraising type, and you can also see the description of this campaign and the expected revenue in the campaign. Now let's look at the donating page. This page helps me donating easily to the campaign Saving the Trees in the Rainforest in Brazil. In here, you can choose the amount and you can decide if you want to have a one-time payment or a monthly payment. In this case, I want to make a one-time payment. And with this payment, I will plant 20 trees. All I have to do is fill in my information. And click the next button. Then I have to select a payment method and click the donate button. This will redirect me to the credit card page where I have to fill in my credit card information with the right month and year and the CVC code. And I have to put a name on the card. I have to decide on which country, and then I can click the pay button, and which allows me to pay €100 for this cause. My donation has been completed, and I'm redirected to the thank you for your donation page. Now let's go back into the system and see what it has done on the campaign. If I refresh this page, you can see that my donation has been added for €100 and it has been paid by credit card. If I then go back into my campaign, I can still see the overview of the campaign. It's still in progress and the running date, start and end date. And in here I have an overview of all the installments booked on this campaign and the opportunity attached to it. Let's look at the dashboard for the fundraising overview. As you can see that there's donation made by campaign. We have 2 in place so far, and we can see how my fundraising target is doing. In the end, we can also see the credit card distribution to keep an eye on with what card issuer we are making the payments. This showed you, this gave you a small overview of how easy it is to create a donation page and add crowd donations to your campaign. Now let's go back to the next part of this demo. Let's have a quick glance of a project and dive into the system. We are now again logged into the Arbor Day Foundation platform and have the opportunity Save the Trees Rainforest Brazil open. As I explained before, is that this is where you can find all the information, but let's now dive a little bit deeper into this opportunity. With this opportunity, it's still at the project proposal stage, but I can already set up my estimated project budgets. I have budgets for travel, equipment and supplies, and other costs and services. I've also allocated some resource requests that I might need or will need on my project, such as a project manager, a communication officer, a coordinator, and a project officer. And in the end, you can see that the project, as soon as it's created, it's linked to the opportunity. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the project. This is my project. As you can see, you can see the overview of the planned hours, the total hours already booked on this project, and the total costs allocated to this project. And you can see what my total grant is. And that's a combination of donor funds, but also campaign donations. You can also see that I already budgeted some of that grant amount to project budgets and what my actual margin is. If we then dive in a little bit deeper, is that in here you can also store different project information on what you want to achieve on the project and dive a little bit further into the hours allocated to the project. In the end, you can see what your total project revenue will be and your expected margin. If we go up, you can see the project plan, where you see all the different milestones and tasks assigned to the project, and we can look into the financials. With the financials, we want to see what the bookings are, and the bookings are all the funds and donations allocated to this project against all the billings, and those are all the actuals spent on the project. In here, you have a little bit more information on the grants, and you can see the different grants allocated to the project. And I can also see my resources. I can see that I've estimated this amount of resources, and the actual hours on this project are a little bit lower because we're just at the start of this project. I can see my resource requests that are coming from the opportunity, and also the assignments that have been made afterwards, where you can see the bill rate against the planned hours and also where we've scheduled the hours for. In the end, we can also see the total hours booked by role as a project manager, a financial officer, and a project officer, and you can see all the different time cards booked in this project. And also, we have one expense that's already been approved that has been allocated to my project. This gave you a quick overview of a project within the Arbor Day Foundation platform. And now let's go back and look at the final part of the demo where I show you a little bit more about the project budgets and the actuals. Now let's look at the last part of the demo where I will show you the projects with the budgets and the actual costs. We have the project Save the Trees in Rainforest Brazil open again. And now I want to dive in a little bit deeper into the financials. So I've explained briefly about the grant and the donor and campaign donations. But on your right side, you can see actually the distinction between the internal costs, the external costs, the expense costs and other costs made, and what the total costs of your projects are. Then we can go into the project budgets, where you can see an overview of all the project budgets allocated to your project. And those are coming from the opportunity that we saw just a little bit before. You can see the budgeted amount against the actual costs. Let's dive in a little bit deeper into the salaries. So in here we have a little bit more information about the salaries, and you can see the time cards booked against it. As you can see, there's 8 time cards booked against it, against the total billable amount, and here are the costs allocated to that those time cards. You can also see the total hours spent on these time cards. If we then dive in a little bit deeper into the project costs, you can see that there's already something booked on this project. There's one payable invoice that's coming from the transaction line, because you can make a distinction between one payable invoice and book it on multiple projects. And there are some additional costs to my project. If I open the payable invoice, you can see that it was a one expense for travel for 5,000 euros. And in here you can see that it's booked on dimension 1 for Europe because it was happening in Europe, and the dimension 4 is set to the project. This dimension helps you to allocate the project and book the costs on your project. We've also bought some laptops for this campaign and for this project. And in here you can see a little bit more about the description. There was an approval process in place, and you can see that it's booked against equipment and supplies. Then I want to show you a report where you can see an overview of the project budgets per project, where you again have an overview of the budgeted amount versus the actual cost, with a nice visual to see how far you are with your total budgets against the project. This is the end of my demo. You have seen a high-level overview of the process with NGOs on Salesforce, Financialforce and Findoc, and we've dived in a little bit deeper into the platform by showing you how to make donations, how projects are set up, and how projects with budgets and actual costs are managed. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Tessa, for providing this demo. I hope it revealed, let's say, the power of the Salesforce platform, combining Salesforce, Financialforce, and Findoc together to help you drive your digital transformation and to come with clear running processes in your organization. So this session has now ended, the demo session. We will now go back to the main stage to listen to the keynote of Michael Kennedy. So I'll leave this one as well and join the other stage now. Thank you very much for joining this one.